Welcome to Tech Talk. Today we're taking a look at how artificial intelligence can influence the future of film and television. The SAG Afterr strike has exceeded 100 days. Those within the union shared on X, that's a platform formerly known as Twitter. They passed a comprehensive counter to the CEOs and have been working overnight to try and reach a possible deal. They're looking for a new 3-year union contract. Members are also asking for restrictions regarding the use of artificial intelligence and higher wages. For more insight behind the SAG Afterr strike, we're joined by actor and Livonia native Katie Chonakis, who's joining us live from Los Angeles, as well as CEO of Rebrand Cities, Haj Fleming. Thanks for both coming in. Well, you coming in, and Katie for joining us by Zoom. So, Katie, let's start with you. Set the scene for us. What's the latest on the strike, and what do the picket lines look like these days? Because we know you've been on the picket line.
Yes, good morning. Well, first and foremost, people can go to SAG Afterr Org, SAGAfterrStrike.org to have up-to-date information. So I think that's really important. Yeah, I've been on the picket line, and I'm going to be going today to Warner Brothers. It's very specific. It's from 10 to 2. It's from 10 to 12 p.m. What was the question again?
Oh, I was just getting you to set the scene. You've been on the front lines there. I just wanted you to kind of give us an idea if the ranks are holding together after being on strike for over 100 days.
Yeah, everyone's going really strong. And like you mentioned, we just got past 100 days. And like you mentioned also, we're, back in the negotiating room today. So it's going to be the second day in the row. So before, the AMPTP, they walked out and it wasn't very successful. And then there was some, buzz in the news. But like I said, when you go to SAGAfterrStrike.org, it's the authentic information coming straight from the committee and from the president. So everyone's really in positive spirits and grateful for, Fran's voice and everything she's saying, because we need it more than ever right now to have fair wages.
All right, well, this is Tech Talk, so we want to talk about artificial intelligence in Hollywood. So, Haj, let's start with you. Why don't you give us a little high-level pros and cons of what artificial intelligence can do for Hollywood?
So, if you think about the pros and cons, let's look at there could be increased creativity and innovation in terms of script writing. But if you look at the downside of it, you could look at AI had the ability to be able to bias from talent discovery. So if you're using these tools and you're pulling from historical data, what does this look like if we're discriminating against actors or actresses that typically haven't gotten a lot of opportunity? But I'm going to give you a very good positive use case. So let's think about immortalizing our favorite actor or actress. Let's think about bringing somebody back from the grave who we've loved. Or let's look at somebody like a Tom Cruise. In Mission Impossible, a franchise that started in 1996. It's been going on for 27 years. At some point, Tom Cruise won't be cruising anymore. He's aged well, he's done amazing, but what if he can't do these types of stunts and we're able to use terms like CGI or use other types of technology, deepfake, where we can now still be able to engage with Tom Cruise in this in a franchise series.
AI Tom Cruise, there's a thought for you right there. Now, one of the big sticking points with the union and the CEOs is artificial intelligence. So, Katie, I hear you're all for artificial intelligence. Tell us from an actor's point of view why you're a pro on this.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, I feel, since I'm an artist, I have a lot of hope and faith in humanity and while we're here in the first place. So about being an artist and growing with evolution and humanity is about pivoting and shifting. And it's here for a reason. So it's how we utilize those tools in a responsible way. For example, I have some coaching clients and they do background work. And I've done background work before. I know how it is. And so let's say when you have background work, let's say it's a mother, right? And she has a family at home. And then you have to go at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, if you're in New York City on a train in the dark, and it could be very, unsafe. And then because they're early call times sometimes, a lot of times. And then you're going to work and you're going through the whole thing. And like I said, I've been on background sets, and it's like, there's this like psychology of, background actors being like on the bottom of the totem pole, and not feeling valued and appreciated, and it really messes with your self-esteem, especially when you're an artist and we're very emotional and expressing. So sometimes it's like we're on set and like wanting to be the principal actor, like wanting the attention, yearning for the attention, but you're doing the background work, which is really important, like because you can't make a film or a TV show without all the people involved. But let's say with AI technology, this woman who has a child at home, let's say AI wants you to come in for a day of work or a half day of work. They want to scan you, and then they want to be able to utilize that in near future TV shows and films. In addition, the actor gets some kind of residual check every time, and it's like they could be doing another job or at home with their family, or traveling or something, and then receiving these residual checks every time they're used in these near future programs. I think everything's energy, right? So I think the individual would appreciate that they're getting residual income from their likeliness, while being able to maybe being on another job at the time. So I think that would be a fair way to utilize AI one way.
And definitely an interesting theory there, Katie. Now, Haj, you're CEO of a company, so you've dealt with contracts. Now, depending on what the CEOs and the union come to an agreement on with AI at this moment, AI is changing so fast. How do they incorporate the future of that into this contract?
So I think there are a lot of nuances, and there's things that, we don't have a crystal ball, but let's just look at something like, if we think about screen credits, that's typically attributed to humans. So what does this look like moving forward when there's AI generated work? Is it the human who put things together? So I think that, so we're going to look at what that looks like. We're also going to look at, what about people who are trying to break into the industry? So you can have aspiring filmmakers who can now get discovered, who could even be in position for stuff like this. Let's also look at, so I'll give you an example. So Tara Strong, if Tara Strong walked through the door, most people would have no idea who she is. But she has been the voice of a lot of animation and games. She was in Powderpuff Girls, right? So what does the ownership of her voice and it being cloned in the future look like? Could a studio mimic it? Will she get paid for it? You know what I'm saying? So I think those are the nuances and things that we're going to have to think about moving forward. And I'm excited and optimistic about it. But I think also too, it's going to be incumbent upon the talent and the actors and actors to think about, how do they develop their digital personal brand online, so when the AI systems are looking and identifying and discovering talent, how do they stand out?
Always interesting Tech Talk. Haj, thanks for coming by. Appreciate that. Katie, thanks a lot for getting up early in Los Angeles and sharing your thoughts with us.